Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lia Apriliani. My ID number is 1821222072. In this occasion, I would like to continue the explanation about the dimensions. For the first is the media dimension. In social semiotics, media refers to the material resources used to realize meaning in social practice, according to Discourse 2010, and is seen as material substance of semiotic resources. It can distinguish between production media and distribution media. Production media, the former, is seen as resources in the production of message, and include both the tools and the material used, while distribution media refers to resources for the dissemination of meaning as message. Production media might further be divided into three kinds of technologies. For the first is technologies of the hand. It is the representation made by the human hand. And the second is recording technologies. It is the tools that make analog representation of material articulation of a semiotic event, such analog photography and film. And the third one is synthesizing technologies. It is like tools that make digitalized representation via an interface. Social media may include both the production and also distribution media. Social media or digital media used to be categorized as synthesizing technology, but it is still relevant with acknowledge their relation to technologies of the hand and recording technologies. For the second is the material dimension. According to Discourse 2010, in 105, a social semiotic approach emphasizes the material, the physical, the sensory, the bodily, the stuffness of stuff, away from abstraction towards the specific and the variable. The matters to how and what kind of meanings are made also in social media setting, it's called as materiality matters. One aspect of the materiality of social media concerns the physical materiality of the device. The primary device for social media are like desktop computer, tablet, and also mobile phone. Also, devices have a physical impact on society and the world. Like broader discussion of the politics of digital materialism, the real-life consequences and concern the digitalization brings along. For example, the ownership, law and regulation, surveillance, localization of data storage, digital pollution and environmental issues of data waste. Furthermore, codes and algorithms are material manifestations of software. Codes make up the digital stuff of social media, while end users don't directly see the code. They do nevertheless interact with and experience them as code digital materialities whenever they are create and share content. Since code and algorithms are the material used to produce social media software, they can in themselves be considered semiotic resources. Finally, the material dimension concerns how materialities are represented in various social media. The third is the historical dimension. A historical perspective of semiotic resources is integral to social semiotic. To Van Leeuwen in 2005, a diachronic description means examining how resources come into being and undergo change when people need or want new ways of using existing resources and or even new resources. Studies of semiotic technology other than social media have demonstrated the value of a historical perspective. For example, include change of the mathematical notation throughout history, according to O'Halloran in 2009, and texture layout in various versions of PowerPoint, and visual hierarchies in different words or in different versions of words. One aspect of this dimension concerns the historical development of a given social medium, like previous version, updates history, add features, withdrawal of features, and so on. The historical interest also concerns the role of social media in transformation of existing social practice and emergence of new practice. The historical perspective enables linking technology to practice and showing how a technology grows out of particular practice. Finally, the historical dimension includes the discourses that surround social media, the ways a social medium is introduced, marketed, discussed, and criticized, as well as the ways users adapt, or reject them. Many social practices that include social media are deeply embedded in normative discourse, like on how action should be performed, how actors should style and present themselves, and on how the setting should be arranged. And the last one is the critical dimension. Social semiotic and multimodality studies are closely related to critical discourse analysis and critical theory in general, according to Fekler 2003. In this case, we are in particular inspired by the discourse historical approach, which concerns three interrelated aspects, according to Wodak 2015, page 24 to 25. But the first is text or discourse immanent. That seeks to make inconsistency, like self-contradiction, paradox, and dilemmas. And the second is socio-diagnostic critique. The aim to uncover the persuasive of manipulative strategies in discursive practice. And the last one is prospective critique, that seeks to improve people's communication skills and empower social actors with better resources for participation, according to Wodak 2015. The role of social media technologies in contemporary society calls for continued research and critique. For example, the changing practice of digital marketing and the distribution of advertisement in software and non-human actors are central fields for critical semiotic technology study, whether negatively and pointing out how exploitation, domination, commodification, and ideology interact in shaping media communication in society, or positively by investigating what potentials for alternatives there are and how struggle can use and advance this potential. I think it's just enough. Thanks for your attention. I'm sorry if I have any mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.